Welcome to the second episode of Overpowering Adversity. Today's show, we will focus on the impact of social networking, the positives and the negatives of our favorite sites. My guests for today's show are Lindsay Alston, Deja Aladatone, and Sarah Paredes. So when I said social networking, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Facebook.
Facebook.
Twitter and Tumblr.
MySpace.
MySpace?
Mm-hmm.
So how often, what, are there any more? I mean, you have things, MySpace, Facebook, Twitter.
Blog.
As I reach my senior year, I use more LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is, you can explain.
It's like a professional social networking site to make, I guess, a network of professional people.
Well, you can define LinkedIn as a business side of Facebook, where it's just strictly business.
Uh-huh. And they have things like High Five. You guys ever used High Five?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Never used it. I just got onto the Twitter train like this semester. Like, yeah. And I just started.
The Twitter train.
Twitter train.
So let me ask you guys. So what site do you use the most?
Depends.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you can choose one that you use more than the other, which one would it be?
Facebook.
Twitter, definitely.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
How many times a day do you use it? Like hours per day?
How many times I have thoughts in a day? So however I use Twitter.
Exactly.
So Twitter's more for thoughts. So you just anything you say, you just put it on Twitter.
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
Censored, not censored.
Not censored
Not
at all.
censored.
At all.
Well, for me, I censor my stuff, certain things, if I know it's like doing too much. But I mean, for any social networking, if I feel as though my friends, if I can tell my friends, look, I have such a network and you can find me on that, then I feel as though anybody can get to me. So I don't want to just put myself out there just because I'm familiar with certain people. But for places like Twitter, anybody can follow you if it's not locked. And even if it's locked, you still let whoever follow you because Twitter it's just pretty much putting your thoughts into a social network.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, and we'll get back to that, the privacy and people following you a little later on in the show, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how close has it brought you to relatives and family members?
I mean, Twitter doesn't really bring me close to family members. That's more for my friends and stuff. But like Facebook, my mom is always on my Facebook, my sisters. If I haven't heard from them in a while.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how close? 10 being the highest.
I don't know, probably 7.
7?
8. Yeah, something like that.
Deji?
My father recently just got on Facebook, and he's one of the few relatives I have on Facebook. So he really hasn't. I don't really interact with him on Facebook at all. So, but it has brought me closer to friends, though.
I'm gonna say about a 9, because
A 9?
yes, because
It's pretty high.
all of my family has found me in some way, shape, or form that I just have never seen, never met, but they all know me, and my older relatives know them. So I'm like constantly calling my grandfather, like, do you know who this person is? They said they're my cousin. Oh yeah, that's your cousin, because my family's from the South, so that's Southern North Carolina type flow. That's just what we do, and they just all finding me now. So.
Well, so if 10 is the highest and you're a 9, do you consider yourself addicted?
No, because I don't really interact with it like that much on a level where I'm constantly on there. I check it maybe once a day.
Once a day. So my team and I, we actually went into the widening community and we did surveys. So the surveys that you're going to see coming up is the surveys that we did with all the students on our campus, majority of the students on the campus. So the first survey talks about the percent of social networks. And what you'll see is that the percent of social networks, you'll see that 87% of people use Facebook. That's huge. So, I mean, you said, Lindsay, you use Facebook. That's 87% of the widening population that took the survey use Facebook. 1% use no type of social networking. And 12% use Twitter. So Facebook wins, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, Facebook was out longer than Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter's a relatively new social network.
Well,
Well,
not necessarily.
Not
It's just Twitter has become more known because Facebook was out the same time as MySpace. And Facebook didn't start becoming known until like 2-3 years ago.
Well, MySpace started, actually longer, before Facebook.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it depends on when it's like how the hype of it. Because MySpace came out first. but Facebook was also right after MySpace.
True.
And we didn't start really getting into the whole Facebook stage until about 3 years
Well,
ago.
I was on MySpace, and my senior year, someone told me about Facebook,
Yeah.
and that's when I started Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember, Facebook, you used to have to be in
A part-
college.
Yeah, and it was for college, and then it expanded.
Yeah.
Correct.
And even now, as it's evolved from college to
Just
Her little
anyone.
sister
to
is on
anybody,
it.
there are more uses for it. You
She's
know,
allowed.
And that we'll get into that later
Yeah.
on the show as well, because there's a lot more information on other people besides college students using
Yeah.
Facebook and social networking. And we have another graph, it talks about the daily use of Facebook, and that one's actually surprising. 49% use it for about an hour a day. And the one I think was amazing is 3% of the population took the survey, use it for 10 hours a day. And you talk about sleep,
Yes.
you talk about going to class,
Yes.
walking, eating, using the bathroom. So if you're using it for 10 hours, that means clearly someone's using on a cell phone or something, iPad, iTouch.
Yeah.
Because 10 hours is a lot. I'm a little jealous.
It's with the emergence of internet capable phones, devices, usage of Facebook has become very, very prominent. So people use them while they're doing other stuff. You use them while you're doing homework. You check your comments. You check somebody's my picture, but so I guess they can't really quantify how long they do use Facebook.
True.
'Cause you can use it all day. Technically, you can always
But
say
it's the on and off
yeah,
checking and everything that adds up.
That adds up.
What about, and we have another graph, the daily use of Twitter. And 1 hour a day, someone uses 28% of the population. 2 hours a day is 29%, and 5 hours is 43%. And I think Twitter too is that on and off. I mean, you just update it, you go back, you update it, you go back.
Yeah, I'm
And-
constantly on my phone on Twitter.
Constantly.
Constantly. On the way to class every day.
I pretty much tweet. If I tweet from my phone, I don't have a smartphone, so it's more of if I'm on Twitter tweeting, it's kind of just like my thoughts because I can't see what everybody else is saying. So that's why I don't think I'm connected to Twitter as much as other people because you can see what other people are saying on her phone and she could go and comment. Whereas me, I can't necessarily do that. So if I'm on my phone having a conversation, it's because somebody tweeted at one of my tweets. I can't start a tweet unless I know their name and I'm not going to remember all 300 some odd of my followers. Like, that's doing too much.
It's a lot. The last graph we have is how close has it brought to your family and friends? 15% say not that close, 32% say very close, and 53% say close. So I mean, those are actually alarming numbers. What do you guys think about these people and the closeness?
For Twitter?
For all of them, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace.
I could see it being for Facebook only because Facebook you could see like pictures and stuff, like, family events, you post photo albums, stuff like that. For Twitter, like we all said, it's for your thoughts. Like if you're mad, you put I'm mad. I don't know how exactly that's gonna bring Deji closer to me. Like he might ask me what's wrong, but when it comes to like my family and friends, like that's not any type of personal, communication going on. That's more of just, I'm giving it out to my generalized public. And I'm just like, here, I'm upset. Take with it what you will. I don't know. That's just my thought on that.
I somewhat agree with you, but I will say that I have become closer to certain people through Twitter by being able to see their thoughts and relate towards that tweet. I've been able to spark conversations and gotten to know them on a more intimate basis than I never would have if I never.
And
saw
I agree with you
us.
because on Facebook, they post what they think, but on Twitter it's so intimate. It's truly like a timeline of what you're remembering, what you're thinking. So when you go on Twitter, people say exactly what comes to their mind and post it. So you get their intimate, distinct, and raw feelings on Twitter, and that's what I've noticed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think. Go ahead.
I was going to say I definitely agree because like my mom, my sister, my aunts, uncles, everyone is on my Facebook, so I don't post anything that I wouldn't want them to see, or if I'm like upset, I don't want my mom asking a million questions. So that stuff goes to Twitter. So
What type of things do you post on Twitter?
just whatever's on my mind, really. If I'm mad at one of my teachers because they're getting on my case about something, or if one of my friends is being dumb, it could be anything.
Now, as Deja was saying, Twitter hasn't been as popular or as been out as long as Facebook. So there probably will come a point where more people have Twitter. Now, will you post the same thoughts? Because if more people have Twitter, it was kind of be almost near Facebook because the people will be able to see it. Would you still post your thoughts as much as you would?
Probably just because like Facebook, they see my pictures, they see everything and all that stuff. Like Twitter is just words, so that's all they can get from me. So it's not really.
Well,
Do you guys have different personalities from your Facebook and Twitter, like pseudo names,
I
The
mean,
alter egos.
alter
ego.
egos?
I don't I mean, I have a different name. Like, I got my Twitter name, but I mean, that's still just me. Whatever I say on Twitter is something that I would just say if I was holding a regular conversation. Like, I don't know. To me, whatever I post on Twitter is something that, you know, that I could say out in public. Now, if I'm upset about something, I'm not going to say, you know, who or what I'm upset about. I'm just going to say, like, you know, I'm upset. Like, I might take the person's name out and just put the situation there, you know, just because I feel as though I'm more of a confrontational person. So if I have a problem, I'm gonna want to say it to you. But if I can't get to that person and express my feelings, I'm gonna just be like, I can't believe that person would go behind my back and talk to, you know, the boy that I liked or something like that. You know, I'm gonna just be like, you know, who does that or something. But I'm not gonna say, oh, Sarah went behind my back, talked to the guy that I like, and I didn't even know. Like, it's not that type of feel. Twitter is more of just a thoughts of kind of you're questioning. I question my Twitter friends. So if I'm like, you know, my thing last night was about trust. I'm like, okay, it's hard to trust people. So can I trust you? And I had a lot of my friends saying, yeah, you can trust me. I wasn't necessarily saying it to them. I wasn't asking Twitter. It was more of a personal thing, but that was my thought at the time.
So how do you guys feel? I mean, if you're on Facebook and your friend is talking and acting a certain way, and then you go on Twitter and it's completely different from what they say when you're with them, how does that make you feel? What do you think?
I mean, I do believe that Twitter, Facebook do have different personalities.
From one person?
From one person. I mean, even for me, before I, you know, conjoined my whole Facebook, Twitter, people said that Twitter depicted a different side of me that they've never ever experienced.
Is that positive or negative?
Some say positive, some say negative. I don't know. I still continue to this day, but I really do believe that there are different personalities. It's, I guess one person described it as Twitter, you know, shows you the inside of somebody's mind, while Facebook shows you their life. And you can.
I like that. Twitter shows you the mind, Facebook shows you the life of the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which one's more realistic?
I mean,
The mind or the life? Or is it right to separate your mind from your life?
It's right to say, I mean, for any case to me, it would be right to separate my thoughts from, you know, my actions. Only because there are certain things that you keep to yourself because you don't, like, your actions result in consequences. So you're not going to sit here and say, oh my gosh, you know, President Harris, he's the worst president ever. And then expect that if it got back to him not to look at you in a certain way. But, you know, on Twitter, if you would say that, you know, I might say, you know, the president is, you know, getting on my nerves. But because there's so many tweets flowing in, not a lot of people would catch that. Now, if I put that on my Facebook, that stays because I don't update my Facebook that much. And you can see clearly I'm a Widener student. You can see clearly my picture, all the activities that I'm involved in. So if I said something about President Harris, they're going to be like, well, Lindsay Austin, because that's my name on my Facebook. I don't use any pseudo name. So it says Lindsay and Austin, and everybody's going to know. Well, Lindsay said this about President Harris instead of whatever my Twitter name is, and then everybody trying to see what my picture is, because you can't really tell who I am in my picture.
So what do you guys think are the benefits and the disadvantages to social networks? Let's start with the benefits.
Long distance.
Yeah.
You get to, a lot of my friends are in college, and not everybody's like home. So I got friends at UMES. I have friends at Lincoln, Cheney, North Carolina A&T. I have friends everywhere, so kind of brings us together and family.
I agree with her, the long distance thing. I got my older sister, she lives in North Carolina. I've seen her once in the past year, so like I get to talk to her on Facebook sometimes and see what she's up to, so that's nice. Other than that, I don't really know.
I mean, you guys are highly involved in different clubs. I memean, millions of businesses use Facebook and these social networks to advertise. I mean, Charlie Sheen gets paid for his tweets. Kim Kardashian gets paid for her tweets, and these are like $10,000 and up. I mean, in your organizations, do you use Facebook and Twitter to promote? I mean, they use marketing, you put your image, branding.
Oh yes, I'm the publicist of the Black Student Union, so I highly use Facebook more so because Facebook you could get more information. I might update a comment or two on the BSU Twitter page, but I more use Facebook to broadcast our events.
Because it increases exposure.
Yes.
I agree. Do you use it for your clubs, organizations?
As WACS SGA representative, I do update our Facebook and Twitter constantly, but I get more response through Facebook, so that's the more default account that we go through. Because we're always trying to find new ways to interact to attract students. We've found that Facebook is actually our best
Outlet venue.
venue.
What are some of the disadvantages?
Well, I was just gonna say there is no personal, physical communication. Like I'm not talking to you face to face, but I'm like, oh my gosh, how are you doing? But if I see you in the streets, I might walk past you because it's like that disconnect. Like it's not the same as just going out, hanging out with a person, say, oh hey Anthony, how are you? Like I might be tweeting at you like, Anthony, oh my gosh, I'm here for you. But then when you need me to be there for you, I'm too busy. So I'm just constantly tweeting at you. And you're just like, well, if you can tweet at me, why can't you actually see me? And it's because we're so used to just living through social networks.
Virtual.
In a virtual world that whole playing, hanging out, it's all done through social networks.
And I agree because I believe our verbal skills are decreasing.
Yeah.
Because especially through Twitter and everything, you text so much that you can't write proper sentences, and your communication, like people's communication off, you can't have a conversation with people anymore. They don't emote. They don't have their emotions.
I found that while it may be easier to talk to somebody through Facebook and Twitter, to be with them in a room physically can be just silence. You rack your mind to figure out what to think of, what to talk about. But on Twitter, oh, this person said this, and I can comment. This person said this on Facebook, I can comment, and and things like that.
I have to agree because I've sat and we've sat in a room with all of our friends and we're all just texting or we're talking to each other through Twitter, and I mean we're sitting like right next to each other.
Yeah.
I mean I see that as a problem, although I can't help myself because I love my Twitter and my Facebook, but I give it up for Lent. So I'm waiting till after Easter to get back. So it's very hard. I'm going through withdrawal, but I'm making it. But I mean, it's hard. Any other disadvantages?
Well, I mean, if you ask any of my professors, especially in hospitality, they stress networking, as I'm sure they do in every other major. But all my teachers say that they get emails that are in texting lingo and whatever you want to call it, internet lingo, and you need to be able to communicate with not just your peers, but the people that are above you in a proper manner. And social networking is kind of hindering that a little bit.
And also, they always talk about like child safety and everything, kid exposure. Because like through MySpace, when you change your profile, something called phishing or fizzing, phishing, that people can actually get your personal information.
Yes.
And, things like that. I have a quote that I actually found. Before we end, I want to know what you guys think. It says, "We are trapped behind grids of pixels and waves of Wi-Fi. The real vision of a person is fractured."
That's true.
It's deep.
As we enter we actually entered it, but as we
Virtual
explore
society.
this digital frontier, we immerse ourselves in this technology. It's making us, in a way, lose sense of reality, but also gain a virtual being.
Yes, you could be. I think honestly, I'm gonna say this real quick. It started with MySpace. You could be a MySpace superstar, and you could just be some 14-year-old little girl who's a loner who has absolutely no friends. But you get on these social networks, and you could really be somebody. Like they have these different social personas. Like, the Sex 101, the best sex professor, and Freaky Facts, and Leos, and all. You can be any given person. We don't know who you are.
And there's so many instances on the news when you see people have these alter egos, these different personalities, and they can get you in trouble and they can't. I mean, this is what we live in, this is what the future, and our generation grew up in it, Generation Y, the millennials, and something we have to deal with. I want to thank you guys for being on the show. I know you're busy and you guys have meetings after this, so I really thank you a lot.
Thank you for inviting
And
us.
for my viewers, I want to say thank you and look out for our next episode. And as we say on OPA,
OPA!
Ah.
thank you.